Hey everyone, it is Matt here, the White Belt Sensi, and you are tuning in to part 2 of this podcast. And if that is a little confusing to you, then maybe you didn't see us post on Facebook or Instagram, but we collaborated with Angell Roads Outdoors this week, and that's Angel with 2 L's, and Bret Postal is the host of Angell Roads Outdoors. He's also a prior guest of the Mobile Hunters Dojo, and we got together and just had a good old-fashioned BS session where we kind of caught each other up on where we're at with our seasons, how scouting went, and we went down a bunch of different rabbit holes, had a blast with this one. I hope you enjoy, but if you want to hear this podcast in its entirety, go over to Angell Roads Outdoors, again, Angel with 2 L's, listen to the first half, then come back to the dojo and listen to this podcast. And thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome to the Mobile Hunters Dojo. Take a seat on the mat and get ready to learn from today's best mobile hunting masters. I'm your host, the White Belt Sensi, Matt Lear. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Mobile Hunters Dojo. Yeah, those. That's all of the sheds I've ever found over 20 years. That's it.
You're kidding me.
No.
And is it because you've been focused on scouting?
I've never gone shed hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just me. Like, and honestly, almost all of those are within the last 5 years.
That's impressive.
Because my scouting went up.
Yep.
Because usually I didn't scout at all. I would just go in during in season and do a piece. I would do a bunch of e-scouting, and then I would read the sign as I went in. Yeah. And that's where I became like the 120 king. Because the first 120 that walked by, I was like, I'm smoking. I have no idea what's here. So this thing's dying. So as I started scouting more, then I started finding more sheds.
Sure.
But I don't shed hunt at all.
I love picking up sheds.
I love it too.
I still get excited no matter what size antler it is. And I hope that never goes away too. But I really needed to make it a priority this year to not just look for antlers. I really wanted to find those faint trails and I joked about it the other day, but like finding hair in a bed, like I'm really trying to get down on my hands and knees into a bed and figure out why this bed is here. What are the advantages of the animal that laid in this bed? I don't know if it's a buck bed or not, unless it's surrounded by rubs. Like, then I'll put it together. But if it's just a bed on a point, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, that was me today. I found a bed and I just go off my gut, and I marked it. So I do use Onyx, but I've also used Spartan Forge.
Mm-hmm.
And so when my Onyx gets like really like right now, the reason why I don't zoom out, because if I did, it would be covered in pins.
Yeah.
And I would love to hold it up and show everybody, but unfortunately, I know if I do that, then somebody's gonna end up over there. So, but it's funny because when I'm with people that I trust and I'm close, I'll show them that and I'll back out, and you can't see anything. I mean, that's how many. Funny. Yeah, it's nuts. But so then on really the important stuff that I'm like, oh, this is something I want to be able to know that I can find, I'll move it to my Spartan Forge app. And so I marked this one and I marked it as a buck bed.
Yeah.
And what told me it was a buck bed? I don't know, it just felt like a buck bed, So like, and I thought through a little bit more. I'm like, okay, I don't see any other beds around it. So it doesn't look like it's a circle bed with does. If it looks secluded enough that, this is where, if I were a buck, I could see me sitting here. There's not a lot of rubs on this piece though. So, sometimes I find rubs in the bed and I go, okay, that tells me it's a buck bed. I don't know if that actually does, but for me, it does. And this one just was like, it feels like a buck bed. And then I ran into some other ones. I was like, this just feels like doe bedding. And so I'll mark it as doe bedding.
No, that's funny.
Not really like super like I don't know, knowledgeable about it, I guess. It's just a guess, just how I feel.
Do you have plans to go out of state this year?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, I knew out of state. Sorry, that's not what I meant. out west,
No, Nebraska is about as far
Nebraska.
west. Yep,
And that's your like you love Nebraska, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I think only because that was where I first went out of state.
Oh, so it's
It,
sort of romantic to you.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. And
I
I
get
got
it.
I killed my first big buck there,
Okay.
and I've seen more big bucks on their feet, like from the stand there, than any other place I've ever hunted.
Have you
So
seen an increase in hunting pressure in Nebraska over the years or no?
I don't want to say.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm
I'm just
joking.
curious.
I'm joking.
Come on.
Uh, so where I hunt, no,
Okay.
but I hear everybody around me. I will tell you, I've had to shift because the spot that I did go to, it got busy.
Yeah.
And it was quiet when I hunted there, and then it got really busy. And I found a new spot, and that spot is very quiet. But
Right.
I'm listening to all the other podcasts while I'm down there, like, and watching like
Oh,
people post, and I'm hearing about the pressure and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sitting back in my little area like, because I didn't run into one hunter, and I'm bouncing all over the place, like I'm hitting a bunch of different pieces. Never ran into a hunter,
that's
and
beautiful.
yeah, it is beautiful. It's really nice.
Do you scout ahead of time out there, or is it just kind of an area that you already know from over the years?
No, this piece I got, I just is one I found recently in the last couple of years, and I was lucky enough to have a guy from like 20 years ago used to hunt that area, and was like, it was good back then, and he gave me some spots to focus in on, and I got there, and it just happened to be a nice little honey hole.
That's awesome.
And then the scouting that I did, because I'm only going, for opener, is I just find all the alfalfa fields I can find,
Hmm.
and then I go and hit all of those up,
Hmm.
and they do not disappoint.
Wow.
Yeah, 100 degrees last year.
God dang.
It it's surprising. I mean, literally 100. Like, not even exaggerating. 100. Some days 101. It's not as bad as what you think it is. Like, you realize you can actually handle it, and it's not too bad at all. Especially since you're on or just off of these fields, so you're
Hmm.
not actually like trucking way back.
Okay.
One time I went a mile back, but it was all off two track, and still was very pleasant. Like, it wasn't bad.
Hmm.
And yeah, bucks every night. The guy that I went with, he killed 130 within the first 30 minutes, full
Yeah, that's
velvet.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I love it down there. It's just a different world. It's a completely different world. You know.
I love that stuff. I love the out west stuff. I love the slow towns, the nice
Yeah,
people. I
me
know.
too.
I think about it all the time.
I
I
did
chose
too.
not to go to Kansas this year. I just bought points this year, and as much as I would love to, I just want to focus on Michigan. I want to focus on Ohio, and I want to focus on Illinois. Um, I may do something else, but for now, I want to just be able to say I'm just buying points. We're gonna not go to Kansas this year, but it kind of sad, man. I love it out there.
Hmm. Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
I'm going to Illinois only because I just want to go. I don't feel confident in what I found. I'm gonna go and just do it like the old days. I mean, not as bad because I've walked, at least I've walked these properties, but I'm gonna go in and just kind of wing it. I don't think I'm hanging cameras. I'm just gonna go
Okay.
in and choose to have a good attitude and just hunt my ass off for 10 days and just try to figure it out. Indiana might go to the wayside unless it's one of these like community, like, a buddy wants to go and we just
Hmm.
want to have fun. Then I won't turn that down ever.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. I'm rearranging my plans and I'm pulling out, and I'm going to try to focus mainly on Michigan,
Oh, that's great.
and then Illinois being kind of like my rutcation, if you want to
Hmm.
call it that. And I'll decide when that is. I think it's. I'm aiming for like getting down there around the 7th, and
Okay.
then going later. Usually I'm down there like the second, third, or fourth,
Hmm.
and then I'm going, but I'm gonna try to push it out later. Do a little bit of rut hunting here in Michigan,
Awesome.
and see how it goes. So yeah,
How's your fitness been going?
rough.
Is it?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, I mean it's better than what it was. I just haven't gotten my groove yet. And so tomorrow I'm actually starting. Does that what 75 hard or hard 75?
Nice.
Yeah. So Now you've done that though,
Interesting,
haven't
interesting
you?
you say that. I've been having a rough go with my sugars recently. Not my diabetic sugars, just I like to eat food when I'm on my road trips, and I've been on the candy bars again, and so I think I'm going to start tomorrow as well.
Oh, nice.
Funny that you say that. Yeah,
Cool.
I've been really doing just about every part of it already, except I haven't been taking a picture of myself
Mhm.
and I haven't been doing the second workout. So, I mean, I've been getting up and reading and working out every day. Um, I've been eating okay, except that the candy bars on the road and the fast food. Like I could make better fast food choices. So, the diet, the second workout, and taking a picture of myself is really all I got to do. So, yeah, I've done it a couple times. Um, have you ever done it?
No.
I think you'll love it, especially once you finish it, because I'm sure you will. I think you're going to find that it's such an awesome recalibration tool. The second you feel yourself slipping, you can flip that switch and just you can have the app on your phone. And I need that list. I need that checklist to do. It's such a great recalibration tool, man.
I have the app. I actually did. So let me take that back. Like, I don't know when it was, a year or so ago, year and a half.
Hmm.
I did like 5 days,
Yeah.
and then I injured myself.
Oh yeah.
And then that was like everything went down after that.
Yep.
So I have like, so the dojo has like a really cool, like, it's, well, I named it. I named it no gut kills bucks, like hashtag no gut kills bucks
Yeah.
or big bucks. And so we have like, I don't know, 11 guys on a Marco Polo app, and they all
Oh,
check
good.
in. The guys are killing it. I feel bad because I'm the one who started it and I'm not killing it as much as they are. It's helped me. Like, I've lost some weight and I'm
Good.
getting more into the groove, but I'm not where I tend to like, or where I want to be. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm doing the
Good.
is it 75 hard? Is that how you say
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well,
So I've
good.
got the app. I'm starting it tomorrow, and yeah, tomorrow morning at 4:30, I'll be getting up and
Hell yeah.
read my 10 pages, working out, and then I'll do. What do you do for your second workout?
So one of my workouts will always be a 45-minute bike ride. So I have an exercise bike and beefcakes, and that, man, I will be dripping when I'm done with that. So I usually do the weights, and then when it has to be outside, I will literally pick the bike up, set it on the ramp to the barn, so I'm outside and just
Nice.
ride it outside and then put it back in. So, I was doing like a weighted pack ruck,
Yeah.
but it bothers my foot. I have old man plantar fasciitis, so
Mhm.
that does not help that. And so the bike does help, and I'm willing to put it outside. But yeah, man, I wish you tons of luck doing that, and I think you're gonna love it. Um, does it stress you out? Because I know you were like, I got to get in shape.
Yeah.
I was out of shape, and you were in like, because I can tell you're the type of guy who like it'll cross your mind every day.
Every
Like,
day.
I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. Does that bother you? Like, does it weigh on you?
Yeah. So I'm weird. Like, I am someone of balance. It's weird because if you look at me, I don't look like I'm in, like, because I wing a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
but I wing it within balance. Like,
Sure.
things have to be balanced in my life, and then I feel like I have the freedom to just be really creative and go do and feel and whatever.
Yeah.
So right now, and it's a domino effect with me. If one thing is out of balance, other things become out of balance, and it really messes everything up for me. So I haven't been able to scout the way I want to because my health, like, I'm not there, like, working out. And then my mind isn't as clear because I'm obsessing with the fact of, like, why haven't you gotten into the groove that you know you need to get into?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it just starts dominoing all over the place. And
Yeah.
I need something like 75 hard, or some trigger to really just get it there and go over.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm constantly analyzing where I'm at on all these different things. In fact, right before we got on, I was just kind of writing these areas like, my mindset, discipline,
Mm-hmm.
physical, spiritual, family is another pillar, like work. All of these things need to be in some sort of balance. It doesn't mean they're equal,
Right.
because sometimes things build up. You get really good at the physical side of things, but yet you haven't really spent a lot of time with your family because you had to ramp it up. So now I got to bring this back up to balance.
Yep.
So I'm constantly moving these things up and down. So, and
Well,
if
I
I'm
love
not
it.
doing that well, then I have a problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
It sounds like you're right on top of it, though.
At least obsessing about it.
Yeah.
It feels weird. I don't know what it is. In all honesty, we'll just get vulnerable. Like I haven't been able to pull the trigger on things like I used to this year. And
Hmm.
I can't put my finger on it. I don't know exactly what it is.
And then
Um,
you mean in all aspects of your
yeah,
life or in
yeah,
various aspects of your life? Okay.
yeah. But then, other people would look at me and go, like I hear it all the time from my brother. He's like, "You're the busiest guy that I know."
Yeah.
Like you're constantly. So I tend to be more critical of myself than what other people are going to be,
Hmm.
And so a lot of people will look out from the outside and go, "What are you talking about? You look pretty balanced." I'm like, no, 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 no. Like I know the level that I can perform, and I'm not there. And I'm not one to ever bullshit myself about it. Like
Yeah. I
I'm
can
going to be
tell.
honest. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You're like that too, aren't you?
I 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like that little app on your phone, it honestly feels like I'm being watched. And I don't want to let the app down because I sort of am personifying the app as me and I don't want to let me down, my family. And I made this commitment and I want to be able to see something. And I think it all stems from having sort of a regimented athletic background. Like as a
Mhm.
kid, I played team sports and I had a goal, and the goal was to be a good hockey player and win. And I don't have that now. And it's sort of hockey and it's my fitness. And if I can just make that commitment to myself, because work is my work is my work. Like I know what I'm doing my work. I don't love it. I just don't love it. And so
Yeah.
it's something that I do to be able to afford me the opportunity to do the things that I love. And so having those things that push me, I don't want to let that down. And it's that
Mhm.
that's all I got these days. It's kind of weird to say, but it's all I got is my
Yeah.
hunting, my working out, and it's very helpful.
Dude, your guns, all right.
My God.
I saw your arms, dude.
Oh,
Holy cow. I didn't know. I saw a video or a clip that you posted today on beefcakes.
arms every day, baby.
Holy cow, dude.
It's
They
hashtag arms every day.
One of your arms is two of mine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh,
The joke is that we don't work out abs at Beefcakes, but we do our arms every day.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, man, I can never get into to abs. Like it's just a pain in the butt. And I found out if you get lean enough, you all of a sudden you have abs. So it's like that's my method. Right now I've got a picture of me sitting over to the side. I'll spare the YouTube viewers of having to see it. And it's me without my shirt on at my like fittest.
Mm-hmm.
And I just stare at that thing every day. And I've got abs in that. I got a 4-pack. I don't know if a guy my age can get a 6-pack. And so I got a 4-pack in that video or in that picture. And actually, dude, I'll tell you something really funny. Not only do I have a picture, let me see if I won't show you. I'll show you the back of it. I have a poster.
You have a poster. That's bigger
Hold
than
on.
8.5 by
Let's
11.
unplug myself.
Matt is getting so excited over there to
I
unplug.
am. So I got a poster. So I ordered the poster, and it's another one of me just without my shirt on, and like in front of the mirror I'm cut, and I was going to put that on the wall. And then I thought my kids will probably be just like mortified that I did that when they work out down here, so I didn't do it. But I went to go to Walgreens to get it, and I was like, they'll roll it the other way so nobody can see it for sure.
Oh
Nope.
no.
So
Was
he's
it
like,
hanging up for you to come get?
no, he's like, but he's got it and he's lifting it up, and it's like, it's just my nipples right there
Yeah.
for everyone to see. And and I'm walking through the store with my poster of myself,
Amazing.
and people are probably just like, what is this maniac doing? So
Love
yeah, yeah. But so I had that here. It was on the wall for a little while, and it mysteriously fell down and was on the ground. I thought might have been one of my kids who did it, and yeah, I wouldn't want to see a big poster of dad without a shirt on
Do
either.
they spend a lot of time down there?
My daughter does. She comes not with me. Like
Work out.
she'll come. I came home. We were gone this last night for our anniversary. I came home and she had like her big like speaker down here, so I could tell she was doing squats and stuff like that. She's driven like that.
Yeah, she knocked it over so she didn't feel like her dad was watching her.
Probably. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So I got to complain about the gym recently because I hung some of my deer heads down here.
Yeah.
And one thing we talked about manifesting like our goals.
Hmm.
The big one, while I was like manifesting me shooting him and where I was going to set up and all of that, I had the spot on my wall down here, and it's inside of my squat rack.
Hmm.
And I was like, that's where I'm going to put him. And once I move him here, then I'm going to move other ones here to kind of make it this deer hunting workout room. And
Hmm.
so I got him back and he's there. And now my daughter's like, this sucks. She's like, you took down the mirrors. I can't see myself squat. I got these deer looking at me, like
Yeah.
she wants it back to being just a regular gym. So
Oh, that's amazing. Well, so I've got the two out in my gym, and my wife, she told me, she's like, I apologize to those two deer every single time I work out. I'm like, you apologize to them? I tell them how handsome they are, but you apologize to them? They nourished our family. What
yeah,
do you mean?
clean
Yeah.
kill too.
Yeah.
That's the best way for them to die, is the way we do
Right.
it. Roadshow, man. So you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Are you going?
I'm going. Adam and I are going. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw Adam
Right.
post. That's right. I saw him post his ticket.
That's right. I assume you are as well.
Yes. Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah. I go more or less just to meet people. Not
Me
not
too.
to and not to say that I can't learn anything there because I could learn a lot.
Yeah.
But in those, I don't know if I do learn a lot there because it's just and it's not saying you can't. I just don't. I'm more interested in meeting people and stuff like
Hmm.
that and the community aspect of it. And they do such a good job with it,
Oh,
with
yeah.
with the community piece of it. Are you going to do any of the athletic stuff, like
Nah,
running around and all that good stuff?
I'm a sweaty guy, and that's the sweatiest time of year for me. And I don't feel like hanging out all day dripping wet. So, no, I will watch and I will encourage the others that are. I don't typically participate. Not to say that I'm too good for anything, because I'm not. I like you said, I like to go hang out.
Hmm.
It's to see people that I only ever talk to on the internet. And I, on the other hand, do learn things in their classes. There's a lot of things that, again, I'm still learning a lot of stuff. And so that's where I first heard, the discussion of thermals, Dieter was talking about how the deer can evaluate scent and based on his dog training
Hmm.
capacity. And that was one of the most fascinating conversations I've ever heard a couple of years ago. Just that kind of stuff. And then last year, where they actually got you on Onyx and talked about a property,
Hmm.
and then they each shared where they would hunt and how they would get there. I really liked hearing how they all had different ideas on the same property like that. And then why? It's because that's, to me, I'm still looking at properties and trying to figure out, yeah, what would I do here? And then just hearing what people look at and why, it was fascinating. Like the zooming in and looking at the game trails. I
Yeah.
love that. I never knew you could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got guys who they're so good at reading those like on X and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I man, I that's one thing about my game that I just don't have. I could, I just don't. I don't do
Yeah.
it. I and I think it's because of my experience, to be honest. Like I think it's because I used to do that so often. I used to go and spend hours and hours on these maps, and then I would get there, and only 30% of those areas would pan out.
Yeah.
And so what I realized too, after I started like roaming scouting is what I call it, just kind of get curious and roam through.
Mm-hmm.
I started finding places that they don't show up on the map. You don't see them there. And so on one hand, I think it's really helpful if you can, because I generalize everything and on the maps. And I really think to move to the next level using those maps, I do need to find those like the micro level of detail. Cause I know a guy, his name's Chris, and he pulls those maps out like where I'm hunting, and he's like, "Hey, have you checked out this spot?" And I'm like, crap, now that he showed me that, looks really good. And I've looked over that a million times,
Yeah.
So that's an area of my game that has to improve.
Do you only use it on your phone?
Now, because I I got so turned off to spending all those hours on my screen because I did it for
Mm.
so long. And I found out that a lot of times when I killed, like I killed in general areas that I could tell were pinch points or I was downwind of bedding. Like it just got very general for me. And I felt like when I tried to get too micro, I was spending so much time and messing myself in my mind.
Oh,
And then when I got there and it didn't pan out,
yeah.
it's very frustrating when it doesn't pan out, you know?
Yeah.
And so I just was like, I'm going to be pleasantly surprised from now on. I'm just going to
Yeah.
walk in and figure it out that way.
I just, I have found that I will, when I'm, you know, boots on the ground, dropping
Mhm.
pins, I will then come back to the house and open it up on my computer. And I feel like I'm able to get a better, you can roll it down into 3D mode on your
Yes.
phone, but when you do it on your laptop and then you can slide adjust the intensity of
Yes.
topography, I really love that feature. And I find that when I use it on my personal computer at home, I'm maybe supposed to be working, but I'm doing it, you know, in between emails. Uh, that I'm being more efficient at home, which of course then translates to whatever you have saved on your phone. And I just that's why I just said if you're only using it on your handheld device, it may not seem as sexy to you. So for anybody that listens and they're at home, you pull it up on your laptop and do the same thing, and then start putting it in that 3D mode and adjusting the topography. You'll really start to see some finer details.
And that's where, and I'm not a fan of this app, um, Spartan Forge,
Mm-hmm.
especially on your phone. It doesn't work like Onyx does with one
Mm.
hand. But in Hill Country, they are the bee's knees.
That's
Like,
what I've heard. Yeah.
oh, so I mean, I bought a membership to it because in Hill Country it looks so good, and their that lidar it
Yeah.
really is something special. And then being able to kind of just like move the height of everything, and
Mm-hmm.
so I will use it. I will come back and do it after I've walked a spot and realize I want to hunt there. When I realize there's something really good going on over there, then I am doing that. And I'm doing the whole 360. I'm moving it from different angles. So I'm not giving up on it, you
Yeah.
know. I use it after I've already done my experiential thing where I've
Right.
experienced the area, then I'll do it.
Love it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome.
What else here?
Do you build your own arrows? I was thinking about that earlier.
No, I've done it before in the past. I'm so past like I don't want to try to do everything. And that's why I'm not like a marksman with my bow. It's like I know I can kill with it and I know I can kill, I feel confident out to 40 yards. I shoot every day. But I don't know all of the, different like I still use I flap it. I don't
Yeah.
use a tension release. I still just pull the
Hmm.
trigger. Um, but likewise with the arrow building, I just want to focus. I want to get good at the hunting portion of it. And I feel like if you
Yeah.
get into too many areas, and I want to keep, if I'm going to mess with my gear, it's going to be the gear that I'm climbing up the tree with and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. So I try to keep it as simple as possible.
Because you said you're red green colorblind, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just curious because with my eye situation, I had to really find the color of knock and wrap that I could see well. And I was thinking earlier because I really put these bright ass orange wraps on my arrows and knocks, and it's really and then fletchings, and it's because I want to be able to see that arrow in flight, and then I want to see it hit the animal, and then I want to be able to find it later. And I was curious if your red green color blindness affects your ability to see in low or dark lights with your arrow flight.
Yeah, for sure. I use lighted nocks.
Okay.
I have to.
Yeah.
Because I won't even find my arrow.
Right.
If it doesn't matter if it's the daytime.
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
find my
See that
arrow.
that makes me nervous. Like what? So that's why I was like, I wonder if he builds his to suit that.
No, I've tried. I went like all white on the
Okay.
back end and it still didn't help. And so then the lighted knock does though. I can see that. And then let me see. Hold on. Let me grab this really quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was a 3 pen.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could. Maybe you can do it this way. No,
Mm-hmm.
there's no red.
Oh, I got you.
I cannot see the red pen.
Yeah.
So, and these both look yellow to me. I assume one is green. I have no idea. They both look yellow. I just know the one on top is my 20 and the one on the bottom is my 30, you know.
Such an interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, and then I bought I can't show it to you because it's on my bow, but I bought the other black gold one where it's right in the middle, the pin's in the
Mm-hmm.
middle, and there's two right there.
Yeah.
And those ones you can buy one green, one yellow. Like they make them that way.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but the red pen did me no good. It just got in the way because I couldn't see it.
Oh, brutal, man.
I
Sorry that,
know.
but fascinates me how many guys in the hunting industry have that, and then I wonder how many people in the world have it because it seems like there's a ton.
Yeah, I
It's
think
got to be
so.
so much more common than I initially thought. I thought it was just my dad that had it when I was growing up.
Scouting is interesting because I don't think I see sign as good as like other people who don't have that color
Hmm.
blindness. Because I'll bring my son with me and he does not hunt. He's not an outdoorsman at all. And he's like, rub, 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 and he's pointing out all this stuff, and I don't see it.
Huh.
And I noticed going with guys this year because, like I said, I've hunted by myself for so long, and they're like, "Oh, there's a rub over there," and I'm looking and I don't see it, and I got to play like that. Oh yeah, like because I just don't see it,
Yeah.
and so like that's a little bit of my like wandering too. The reason why I scout the way that I do is because I've got to kind of just fall into it. It sounds, and I'm not efficient. And there's that huge talk about efficiency lately over the last like
Sure.
last summer's podcast. If there was a theme, it was efficiency.
Yep.
And I thought to myself, and that was actually the reason why I started the dojo because I was like, well, that'll never be me. So I wonder if there's other people who aren't going to be that efficient either. And is there a way to still kill deer? You know, and there is. So
Yeah.
yeah. You don't have any kind of color blindness, no issues there whatsoever.
No, I just
Just
have the
that, yeah.
the half blindness sort of thing, and
Which
that's what
just
yeah. Well, that's what messes me is when it gets dry. So it doesn't naturally produce tears like it used to because they were in there like 6 times, and so it gets real dry. And when it gets real dry, if I don't stay on top of the drops, it gets extra foggy and scratched. And so then I get frustrated with that because it's like I can barely see anyway. And then now it's extra blind over there. So I that's another part of it too, is I have to just suck it up and deal with it because there's nothing I can do about that. So
yeah.
if I see a damn snake and my eyes bothering me, that's 2 strikes against me and I'm getting really frustrated. It's like, no, man, you're in Ohio, very limited time. You've got to do this. Figure it out.
Have you hunted Ohio before?
Never.
Are you going by yourself?
Unless someone wants to tag along.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I,
Very, very interesting.
I'm at a point where, and we've had this conversation, I will ask somebody to go a couple of times. And if it's pulling teeth, I'm just going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my brother, God bless him, would love to, but he's starting a new business and he's probably not going to be able to get wild with me this year. And I don't blame him. I mean, it's working out. Everything he's wanted to do with it is happening. And so good for him. But I'll invite him if he can make it. Great. There's a couple other people that said I'll go with you. But I almost feel like a burden at this point because I have they've been there and I've never been there, and it's like,
Oh,
well, Bret doesn't know anywhere to go, and it's not that I wouldn't. I don't know that they think that. I'm assuming they think that, and I don't. I would totally just figure it out, but
yeah. If you end up going and you're by yourself and you're like, huh, I wouldn't mind having some company.
yeah,
Yeah, give me a call and I'll see
okay,
what's going on because I'm starting a new business too. So it's a little bit where I'm a little off too, trying to figure out like how much time I'm actually going to have during that time period or not. But
yeah,
I love the idea of actually going into a spot that I haven't scouted, I haven't e-scouted. Like just show me where it's at. I'll pull it up on the map and
mm-hmm,
then just off I go.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that was fun for me for a long period of time.
mm-hmm,
And I kind of want to get back to it. The only thing is that I don't. and don't hear any kind of snobbiness in this at all, I kind of don't want to shoot 120s anymore.
There's no snobbiness in there.
So now, if one walks by and I am pumped up, I will not deny my inner
Yeah.
like wanting to let an arrow fly. I will let an arrow fly if I feel pumped up about it.
Mm-hmm.
But so I would love to get back to doing that and not caring as much, not trying to find out if there's a huge buck there, just
Yeah.
going for the adventure and then hold out. And if that means I eat a tag, I eat a tag. And if I get one, then wow, that's going to be
Yeah.
even more amazing. So I'm always up for that. I'm that kind of
Cool.
guy that you can call and like anyone can call and be like, hey, what are you doing this week? And you want to go here? And I'm like, you know what? It works. I'm going. Yeah,
That's awesome.
let's go. Let's do it.
Cool.
And I'll buy a tag for 2 days. I don't care.
Hell yeah. Oh, I'm the same way. I think I bought a tag in Wisconsin for 1 day last year.
Done that. I've done that. You know, which
It's
stinks
grand
because
plan.
your first tag's only $75.
Yeah.
I burned through that so quick. Like,
That's a fact.
yep.
And I've been writing letters, so I'm on Onyx and I'm looking at properties in the general vicinity of where I'm working, and there's some incredible looking properties, and I'm mailing letters. In fact, my neighbor who lives across the street's wife, who has passed, he's an elderly man. She was an incredible artist, and she has these beautiful greeting cards that she had made of very unique buildings in our small town, and she hand drew them and then had them printed on greeting cards that are just blank.
Yeah.
So I asked him for some sometime because they're absolutely gorgeous, and I actually will write my letters and mail them to people. So I'm in the process of trying to find private in Ohio as well. So we'll see.
That's too much work for me. I'll always do the public grind because it's easier. Like the whole knocking. I did that for years ago. We would drive and knock on doors and send letters and all that kind of stuff. And it actually produced. It does produce.
Sure, it can.
Yeah, yeah. But it was a lot of work to get a few pieces. And we were doing it mainly in Michigan. So we were getting 40-acre piece here, 40-acre piece there. And then you like, well, I got 6,000 acres right there. I could just go hunt, not have to knock on a door. But both have their plus and minuses.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Were any of them very successful for you?
No.
Or were they just places to hunt?
They're just places to hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, does died,
Sure.
So that's fun. I think having a nice private place to go kill does is fantastic. Because I don't want to drag a doe a mile, like I want to be able to like back my truck up and throw it in the back of the truck. Like I would love to have a doe killing 40-acre piece. I would be so
That's
happy.
awesome.
20
Well,
acres.
I've got
10.
one. Come hunt with me.
Yeah.
The one up the road for me, I think I told you this. If there are bucks there that I would even think about, they're dead within the first 3 days because everybody baits on the neighboring properties and shoots them immediately. And so there's tons of does because God forbid they shoot a doe. I always shoot a doe. They never do. And so there's a lot of doe. There's a hell of doe over here in Clarkston. So next time if you are struggling to find one, you just let me know.
All right, yeah, I'll do that for sure. I've got a little piece of public by my house that I've been able to slide in and kill a doe within the first like 2 days.
Oh, nice.
Of season. And I still have to drag them, but it's not as far. And it's funny, and again, not to sound a certain way at all, but I've never seen anybody kill in there before. I'm sure they have. There's a lot of hunters there. But I was there and I killed the doe and was dragging them out. And like, this guy's like, I've never seen a deer here. I've hunted here for 4 years. And I'm like, I literally walked out without knowing where to go today. Just popped up in the spot. So then I told him where the spot was and I ran into him later and he's like, I killed my first deer here.
That's awesome.
So back to back, same tree. I killed a doe. He killed a doe the next day. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Do you find a lot of deadheads out there when you're doing your scouting?
Yes and no. Yeah. In Michigan, I do. I haven't found any in Illinois, but in Michigan, I find a good number of them, actually.
Funny you say that. I only find them in Michigan. I have not found them on any of the Ohio properties I've been on or the Illinois properties.
So one of these sheds, actually, hold on real quick. Here's another little stop.
Oh, man.
It's not a real shed.
Really?
It was a deadhead.
Oh, I mean,
And
meant not a real antler.
yeah, yeah, I have the other one. I have
Okay.
the other one up there. I was going to turn these into rattling horns because
Yeah.
I felt like I needed to have really big rattling horns to be
hmm
cool.
hmm
And have since, after I cut them off, the deadhead decided I didn't need to do that. But
Have you
but
ever?
no.
It
Mm-mm.
is the most god awful, cumbersome thing to take out into the woods. I'm so mad that I have them.
No, I use a rattling bag, and I killed my first big buck off a rattling bag.
Me too.
The same rattling bag I have today.
That
Yep.
is awesome.
Yep. And it's just wooden dowels inside of a bag. That's all it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
So I found a deadhead one year and cut his antlers off and sawed off his brow tines and taped them all up.
Yep.
And I have them. And I hate taking them to the woods so much that they almost just live in the back of my truck for all of hunting season. And I last year bought another rattling bag.
Really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just you just slide it in there and it's close enough.
Yeah.
It just has to be. It's like I'm not. I even if I had antlers, can't mimic an actual deer fight. Like I'm just trying to get their attention. Who am I kidding?
I've tried to use them, and I don't know what it is about them, but I can't. I don't sound like I'm actually a deer fighting in the woods with them.
The
Like,
real question is, does anybody? How do we really know?
yeah, have you? So, okay, that's a great question. Have you heard of bucks fighting in the woods?
The first year I ever hunted, and it was actually I was on a scout. So I had a climber, and I was hunting behind my girlfriend's house. She had her dad owned 5 acres in Heartland, and behind it was all woods behind the house. And so I was like, where am I going to hunt opening day? I took my climber out there, and this was before season. I climbed up in a tree right at sundown, and two pretty good 8 points went absolutely insane at it, right, literally in front of the tree that I was climbed up in my jeans and a t-shirt, probably. And that was the only buck fight I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I've seen like some tickling going on, but
Yes.
never a fight.
Yeah, tickling is mainly what I'll hear. Like maybe I don't know if I call it a fight, but maybe a little bit of a bang,
Mm-hmm.
and then more like tickling. And it's usually, from what I've heard, is like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then it's done.
Yeah.
I've never seen two bucks just go at it and try to kill each other.
I would love to see
Oh,
that.
I would love to as well. And that's my argument about the rut, about the timing of the rut. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
had that conversation before where I'm like, I feel like that early season time, just that October 4th through 7, which everybody says is the golden time. And I've killed all my bucks during that time, almost all of them. But I just don't see like the heavy rut action that you see on the movies and stuff like that. And
Right.
people are gonna say, well, this, pressure has a lot to do with that. Well, I've been in public that's not pressured, and I still haven't seen it. I still saw the bucks just kind of moseying through with each other and
Mm-hmm.
kind of, pushing does and stuff enough for me to kill,
Yeah.
but not that wild rut. And so I was talking to, and that's why I'm going later this year to Illinois, is because a local guy told me, Matt, if you want to see that, show up and be around on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and
Oh, damn.
you're gonna see more of that. And I'm like, okay, let's try it. But yeah, so this thing is actually, it's a pretty big.
That's a great antler.
Yeah, and the other one's
Absolutely.
over there. He had a good spread and everything. I climbed up in my tree, hunted all morning. This was a piece. This was like a 5 acre piece of private that a friend said I could hunt. I went there and hunted at one time, climbed up in the tree, and didn't see anything. Got down, and at the base of my tree was that deadhead.
You
And I'm
didn't
like,
on their way up. You hadn't seen it.
it was dark, and I was just first time there. I just found a tree, climbed up in it, and sat there. And I got down, and there's that head sitting right there.
So it must have been totally decomposed, just bones.
All I saw was the head. That's the thing, is I think I was so pumped up to see this. This is like a 135-inch buck in Michigan, and where I live, it's like you don't see those. And I'm like, I just grabbed the head and bounced.
That's amazing.
And everybody asked me like, well, what was the rest of the body there? I'm like, shit, I didn't even look, man. I was so excited to find that dead head. I just grabbed it and ran home to show my wife like a little kid,
Do
like, look
you
what I found.
Do you use your nose when you're scouting? Like, can you
Yes.
smell an area that smells
Yes.
like deer?
Yeah, I do.
I always wonder because I feel like I can smell it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
No matter the time of year either. I just feel like it's definitely one of our assets there, smelling it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, last weekend I was in a spot. As soon as I walked in, I was like, "Oh, this is bedding." Like, I
Yeah.
can smell it. Yep, it was really good. Yeah, so that's funny. Yeah. So
Two.
no rattling antlers for me.
No, no. Do you and have you ever heard of snortweeze though?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I've never heard that either.
I've heard it and I've done it. And I scared the crap out of a really big buck doing it. Like it was towards the end. I mean, it's gun season. I'm in Michigan, and so that tells you, it's the 16th or 17th. He's moving through right in gray light. I'm in a bow only section. And so I got my bow. If it was a gun, he would have been dead. And I see him and I'm grunting and he stops and I'm like, okay, cool. I got his attention. And then he starts to move again. I grunt, he stops, and then he looks like he's just not going to come over. I hit him with the snort wheeze and that thing bolted and jumped a fence so fast and was gone. Like, I was like, well, didn't do that right.
Well, that didn't work. I think I have. So I did one at a deer that was on the neighbors, and he was working. He was going to go across the main road, and he absolutely hated that as well. So I was like, well, guess I probably won't ever use that again. And again, it's Michigan. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. I don't know if I tried it in Illinois if it would work. I really have no idea. I'm very inexperienced at the calls. Who knows, man?
So what I love about this conversation is that I think so many times, like, especially when I'm talking, because I do that series that's like, do this now.
Yeah.
The last Do It Now series I did, I was so disgusted with myself after I got done because there was a spot in it where I was going, and what I want you to do next is this, and I want you to do this, and I want you like, and I was like, oh, that sounds so bad. Like, I just hated the way I want you to do this. So if you heard that and you were like, who's this prick? I'm sorry about that. It's not how I actually think. But I know on that level, that series is to help people get their first buck, right?
Yeah.
Or to find some consistency. And I know what I'm talking about there is sound principle. But if you listen to this podcast today, I mean, it's so evident of like how much I don't know and how much I'm just winging it. And I actually think that's the hope I want people to hear is
I
like,
love that.
just, I mean, get out there, work hard, try to learn, like do continuous improvement, look at yourself, be honest with yourself, but also know that you can stumble your way through this and find success. Because I think we do find a level of success that we want more, and I'm speaking for you, and stop me if I'm wrong, but I would like more consistency on my success, and I would like a bigger caliber of buck now that I'm kind of moving into. That's kind of what I want for me. But we have a level of success that I think some guys would like to reach. And it's reassuring to know that we're not like some black belt level person, that we're still learning a lot of this and we're kind of stumbling our way through it and finding out that that actually works.
I love it. I love it so much because we've talked about before, you have to love all of this.
Hmm.
You have to love 100% of it, the good, bad, and the ugly. And we have been smiling this whole time. We're laughing about the silly things that we've done over the course of our time doing this. We're laughing at maybe some of the things that you go through, and you're laughing at some of the things that I've gone through and our struggles, but also our successes.
Hmm.
And the common theme is we're happy.
Yeah.
We're the whole time. Yes, there are moments of frustration and times of being annoyed, but it ultimately brings joy to our lives. And should you ever find that you are no longer joyous doing this, and man, just move along, find something
Yeah.
else to do because it's to either recalibrate and find it again or move on because you're just going to be bitter and there's no point in that. But we've been, like you said, we're fumbling along through it, but we're happy the whole time, and it's invaluable.
When people I think when people find like their joy's gone, it's because they think it should look a certain way.
Yeah.
And they're not looking that way. At least that was for me. I had to recalibrate, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate about you so much. And that's actually why I'm glad we stumbled to this point into our podcast today. Because when I first reached out to you to have this conversation again, this is kind of what I was hoping would come out of it. And it was this kind of like, you're really authentic and real. And I appreciate that. And, listening, like, man, the image stuff is so big out there. Like, when you look at Instagram, when you hear people talk, you feel like, oh, it has to look like this.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was saying, like those antlers right there, I mean, it looks like if you look at that and watching the video, you're like, oh, that guy goes out and he gets, big antlers. It's like that's like 20 years worth of antlers right there.
Yeah.
Like if you know the backstory behind it, it's not as
Sure.
sexy as what you think it is. And if you look at the process, it's not what it appears to be. And what you're doing is probably very similar to what I'm doing. And it's just a matter of like a little bit of tweaks or maybe getting a little looser with it and not getting so uptight
Mhm.
and maybe pushing a little bit harder, and continually, like just adjusting a little bit. And one day it'll just click and it'll start to get better and better every time, you go out. At least that's what I noticed. Like a
Yeah.
little percentage. Some days I go out, like I mean, you heard me say scouting this year has been tough.
Oh, same.
But I still feel like even on those days I'm learning, more than I knew the year before. So
And even if that learning is never coming back here,
yeah,
that's learning.
I know.
Never
That was
coming here
tough.
again.
I said to myself today when I was out there, don't manufacture sign.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever done that where you just try to force this? And in fact, I found a spot walking back to my car today where I marked a buck bed. And if I was honest with myself, I don't think that really was a buck bed when I marked it.
Mm,
I wanted it to be a buck bed because it's set up perfect for a buck bed. And I know
mhm.
it sounds silly, like why would you do that? I think you trick yourself because you see how things are on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and you're like, well, it should be here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way a buck is bedding there. I mean, it must have been a doe bed. I mean, it was a bed, but I
Yeah.
marked it a buck bed a couple years ago. And then I just had to be real with myself today, and I took it off the map. I was like, I'm taking this off. It's not a buck bed. He's not doing what I think he's doing right there. I've tried to force scrapes into being bigger than what they are. Like this scrape is significant, and it's not because I don't know. I just felt like I needed to find sign, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
okay not finding sign and walking off a piece, going, this isn't gonna work for me.
I got a camera right now on what I thought was a scrape that has sent me absolutely one picture every day of not a single damn thing. And the only reason, so it appeared to be very similar to the scrape I found in Illinois. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like all the ingredients are the same. It's in the same spot on this ridge. And it's like, this has to be exact. And there's bedding down there. Like, this is exactly what I wanted to find out here. And I'm not going to give up on it because there's a chance they're just not there right now. But the fact that nothing has walked in front of that camera tells me I'm probably wrong.
Oh, that's so good. I have so many cameras like that. Yep. Oh, that's so good. I do have a spot where I've got a camera that's been there for 2 years straight, and it is not producing the way that I wanted it to, but it is producing well for me, which is
Yeah.
strange. So I thought it was downwind of bedding. I thought I was going to see bucks running through there on a regular basis, and like I thought I would have deer every single day. It turns to find out like it's an east wind location, and every time, which in Michigan is very rare.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, on an east wind, it lights up. And so the point of that story is like, it's so funny. Like sometimes you put something out thinking it's one thing, and you find out it's something else, and it actually benefits you.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
it's a lot like sometimes throwing a dart on the map a little bit with cameras. And I'm okay with that. Like there's some spots where you just nail it and you feel great about it. You're like, I knew this camera was going to work out. And then I've got a good number of cameras that are just kind of not what I thought they were going to be. Either they're still good or they're just not good at all, like, but
Mm-hmm.
when they're good, it's just not what I thought it was going to be. But
Yeah, it's part of the
anyways.
game, man. Like you said, you got to, and maybe you didn't say this. I think I was thinking it when we were talking about incrementally getting better.
Mhm.
And even if that means learning never to go back to a spot, what I wanted to say is maybe that person needs to just cast a little bit bigger of a net.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of going 30 minutes away from home to hunt the local public piece, and although you're going way back, which is outside of your comfort zone, maybe you need to go to that piece that's an hour and a half away and cast that. Maybe you need to buy that out of state tag that maybe is a little more expensive than you wanted to, maybe fork over this year. But that net, although you maybe stepped out of your comfort zone one year, it wasn't fruitful for you. Maybe that net needs to be a little bit bigger. Maybe you go to Ohio and buy an over the counter tag, or you go to Indiana and buy an over the counter tag. And don't do a draw state because that can be intimidating.
Yeah.
But do an over the counter tag and an out of state hunt, and just cover all your bases. Do literally everything you can do.
Yeah.
And I would be willing to bet just about anything that you're going to find some success.
I agree so much. Like, knowing where I was 7, 8, 10, 12 years ago, like, I'm trying to remember, like, when I started out of state hunting, this is a long time ago. 2008. So whatever that was, it's almost, geez,
15 and a half years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I knew almost nothing and was able to find success. And that success, going to those states are easier to hunt. And I'm not trying to offend anybody in any of those states. It's still hard. I get it. But going to those states that may be easier than the state that you're in to hunt, and then you start to get success. It's amazing how much you learn off of that, just getting lucky in those states.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can bring it back to your home state or other states. Like, it accelerates your learning, you know? And then the adventure part, it recharges you. Like, if you go out there and you're just like, I just want to go experience something new and give my all. That's the other part of it. It's amazing, even when you don't succeed in your goal, how great you feel about doing it and how energized you are about wanting to do more.
That's a fact.
It is.
I was laughing listening to you and Josh and I can't remember what the guys
Ryan
talk about showers,
Yeah.
And I was laughing because when I went to Kansas at the end of December last year for my last hurrah, which was unsuccessful, I was standing in an open field in my underpants and I cleansed my whole body with dude wipes.
Yeah.
Like, that was my shower. And I was laughing because I'm like, man, I would have killed for a damn shower that day. And I just literally do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to be out there. And it's, again, I laughed. I don't think I was laughing when I was doing that, but I laughed when I listened to those guys talk about showers. Because, man, just the adventure. I love when you said, man, the adventure is the new 180.
Yeah.
You're right. Go wherever you can. There's no guarantee that you're going to be able to hunt next year. There's no guarantee they're going to be able to hunt this fall. But if you get a chance, just go.
Yeah. Yeah. I scouted 200 acres here in Michigan, or 200 miles here in Michigan, and I never hunted it, but I had a blast scouting it.
Yeah.
Like, it was so much fun and I learned so much.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just my adventure for the whole summer, was just scouting here, and I never even ended up hunting it,
Right.
So, well, cool, man. Where are we at? Yeah, we're an hour and 45 minutes into it, so we could probably wrap up, but cool. I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you having me. Good idea.
Yeah, anytime. And do you have anything exciting coming up? Any cool ideas for the Angell Road? Any new podcasts coming out down the road?
No, I don't have anything exciting. I'm really looking forward to the road show. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more scouting. I've got grand plans to do some more scouting. I've got a lot of pins on some public land in the middle of the state, north of Lansing, and a little bit closer to you. I got a lot of scouting I want to do. I want to go back to Illinois again with Adam, and I want to spend. I'm trying to figure out ways to do this so that it works for the family. Like, maybe take the whole family to Ohio or down there, and that way everybody's a part of it, and they don't feel so excluded. I don't always recommend taking your family on hunting trips, but scouting trips, you can make it work. So that's kind of about all I got going on.
Yeah, same here. Not a ton. I mean, summertime is going to be interesting shifting the podcast. It's my first summer with the podcast, and just seeing that, I think people's attention starts to kind of go off in different areas and trying
Mhm.
to come up with content that's going to be helpful.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you have some suggestions, that would be great. I'm all for that. I think as we get closer, I've already got some podcasts that have been recorded that I'm really excited to put out closer to season. It's so good and it's not good because of me, it's good because of the guests, that I don't want people to forget it
Yeah.
because I think it's information that's really going to help them. So, possibly towards the end of August or middle of August, that stuff will start to come out.
Okay.
But from now until then, it's just trying to figure out, what people want to hear right now.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, same thing, road shows, expos. That's it for me too. Scouting, doing a lot of
Mhm.
scouting, um, camping overnight. I'm going to try to do some more of that. And that's it for us. So
Cool.
cool. All right. So we'll do the whole, they should know where to find you by now.
I hope so,
But
but if they do not,
yep.
they can find me and some of my brother as well at Angell Road Outdoors. Angel has two L's. And again, that is paying homage to the gentleman who affords us such an incredible opportunity here in Michigan to hunt his property. Or you can find us over at Beefcake's Gym for some fitness inspiration.
Well, awesome, Uncle Bret. I really appreciate you coming on today. And I want to thank everybody else for coming out and taking a seat on the mat. We will see you next Thursday with another Whitetail Master. And until then, embrace the journey. Well, that is a wrap here on the Mobile Hunters Dojo. We're going to drop a new podcast every Thursday at 5 a.m. Do us a favor. Go give us a follow over at Instagram at the Mobile Hunters Dojo. Also, if you could leave us a 5-star review at Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it helps us out a lot. Thanks a lot. We look forward to seeing you again back here at the Mobile Hunters Dojo.